Good morning, everyone. Welcome along. Welcome to Steel Horse Station. Have my cup of coffee to get the day started. In answer to your question, Jody, bit early to tell for me. Just gone 7 a.m. and in fact 7:01, I think, according to the clock. So I'm still getting with the day. My eyes are actually open, but let us head across to Newlands. And the first thing you'll see is we've picked up a opportunistic piece of equipment. So it came up in the sales for the princely sum of $8,000. A slightly bigger windrower than the one we had that we put on the front of the tractor, and given that we're going to have some canola to harvest today and some straw to pick up, this will come quite in handy. So we'll be able to make good use of that in just a sec. Let's get you out of the way there. Let's do a couple of things. We've rolled into August, which is why we've got crops. Looks like we've also got some grass that will need to be cut at some point. Let's duck over the garden centre. Oops, I was there. And let's just see. Yes, we have some trees which need to go to the sale point. FM tree sale. Farmers market. So there's a bunch of trees there. I was fiddling around trying to get these big bags to take the meat products, and having a couple of issues. If Scooter pops in, I might ask him. Well, Mark Haythorne may know the answer. Oh, why have we got a big lump in the middle of our... Let's just... Where did that come from? Hello, Mark Haythorne. Welcome. Good to see you. Let's just see here. Can I smooth that out at all? Don't know where I got that from. That looks a bit better. So the pig situation, 202 of 216, they have food. Actually, let's look over here. You're making silence bales. I'm guessing they're silage bales, but they may have the same effect if you've got a concentrate. So at I've called the yard at the Meatworks the fattening yard, and so we've got 20 in there that are up to 6 months and they're healthy, so we can go and move them across at some point during the day. I've got a sneaking suspicion the cows have just run out of food. They have, and there's a heap of milk there, so we'll go feed the cows. First up, we've got enough food to last at least the stream in the extension yard, and some of those can move across to be dealt with, and we've got plenty of food. What are we like with ages? So I've drawn a conclusion about pigs and Maize Plus. So the biggest challenge I think that Maize Plus introduces with pigs is that it makes them really labor intensive without necessarily being particularly profitable. For the simple reason, because they eat that little bit more, you're always feeding them, and without the meatworks, they wouldn't work at all, I don't think. Because by the time they got old enough to get their maximum price, they would have eaten you out of house and home. So, g'day, Bruce Salter. Welcome in. Let's get some feed mix going here. So we'll throw some. I suspect it's fairly realistic, don't get me wrong. So it's more just it's not something that you are going to print pots of money at. Now, what do we got here? There's a little bit. Try and clear up this stuff on the exit for the pit. If I drive in... Hodge One, welcome along. Great to see you. Let's see here. If I go in here, I'm going to overfill it, and then we're going to have that problem, and I'm going to create a mess on the outside. It's a very bizarre situation. There we go. As soon as we get to the end of the bunker, it unloads some of it, and now I'm back to the right weight. Don't understand why the shovel... There's something that changed, I'm convinced, with shovel functionality in the last couple of releases. It mightn't have been deliberate, but... Let's see. Pop one of these in here. What do we normally do 2 of each, don't we? And Scooter is in the house as well. Gee, I only just managed to get that in there. Didn't judge that very well. I suppose it's better than tipping it on the floor. Scooter, I've got a question for you. Which is what's happening here. So I was trying to add for the meatworks. Yeah, it happened again. I was trying to add those fill types so that the global transport bags would pick them up. And I've modified the XML of the transport bags to have the fill types, but it's almost as though I haven't tried to do that before. It's not free silage, it's just, for some reason it was in the... Oh, you think it was in... It is free silage. You think I haven't reduced the amount that's in the pit? Yeah, interesting. Let's have a look at that. When we get to it, we can do a couple of loads. Well, I've done it again. Come on. Yeah, anyway, what I was saying before I decided I should concentrate. So the global transport bags, I added the fill types just like I would normally, but it doesn't want to recognize the fill types for the meat, the chicken cuts, so for the meat processing plant. And the conclusion I've reached is that potentially the mod is being, now what have we got here? We've got 4,000 litres of maize silage. Need a little bit of grass silage. And the reason that I thought I could do it capably with the skill that I had was that I'd done it before with adding the things from this map. So the special products that are on this map, I've got taking it. But of course, with the meat processing plant, that's a mod that's added in, and it's almost like the fill types don't exist when the game loads in the transport bags, and therefore it won't let me recognize them. So let me just give you a quick example. We go up into the log here for a second. That's not it. That sounds exactly like what I need. So that was the conclusion that I reached, was that they're not loading in the right order. Let's just get up here a bit. I've obviously got something turned on that's verbose. Yeah, so they're all of the unknown fill types that are in the what's the name mod. Now most of those are because they're for maps or mods that I don't use, but we're almost up there, I would have thought. Why didn't I see the ones that I was looking for you to add? Put them in other, I thought. Donuts, tofu. Obviously don't have any of the La Coronella stuff on. Liquids. Oh, there we go. Chicken cut, beef, pork, lamb, and gelatin. So there's a GTX script that'll do that, is there? Okay. I suppose the only other way to do it would be to take the fill type definition out of the meat processing mod plant and add that to the map. That would also presumably have the same effect, unless I am mistaken. Yeah, where are we? Okay, you got to be in a vehicle to get that. Right. So we have, just get that somewhere where I can read it on the screen. So we've got grass silage and maize silage. Now we need some hay. You wouldn't have that. So those fill type categories are the way that the global transport bag defines the defines them or picks them up. And so I just added to the list to include fill types that that you had defined. So I just put them in the list. It just made it easy for me to know how I'd and minimize the change I did to the global palette mod. But I figured it was an order of loading thing, and I was just getting tired at the point I was looking at it. Grass conditioned, I want hay. Whoops, there we go. Give me some hay. Will be plenty. Global transport mod, is that the mod I should send you, or the meat processing plant? There we go. We have hay. So now we want a little bit of molasses. ModHub here. Correct. I just modified it to add fill types for the specialty products on this map and the meat processing works into those categories. So what I got up and showed you before, I just added a special class for a fill type category that included the things that were unique to this map. And as I say, the mod itself works fine, so it picks up the things that were in the base. Right, okay, I'll send you that. We'll do that later. There's a little bit of mineral feed. That'll be plenty. Now what are we looking at? That should be just about a mix, I reckon. Yep. Just put a bit of straw in there. Oh, we're empty on straw in the shed, aren't we? What can I top it up with? There's no other pre-racks. Let's give him a treat. Let's give him some beet pulp. Because I haven't collected the straw off the field yet. So we'll just duck over here. How much beet pulp can I put in? Up to 30%. We won't be adding that much. I haven't modified Scooter's mod at all. I literally just taking the fill types that Scooter defined and adding them into a fill type category in the global transport mod. And it's just that, as I think Scooter was saying, the global transport mod actually loads before the meat processing plant, and therefore it doesn't recognize it. And that's why I'm saying I think the fastest fix will be to add the fill types actually into the base, the fill type definition into the base map. And I know how to do that. It's just a matter of copying Scooter's fill type definition into the one of the map definition files. I can never, is it economy and Or no, it's into the fill types definition for the map. Because I can just put it alongside specialty fill types for this map. That's true. I do not. Right, we can unload. And the cows will have some food. So that's a good beginning. So I won't necessarily do another one of those right now. We can get on with some other chores first. I'll leave this out because we definitely will require another one. Or even two. Now, let us quickly roll up some straw over there. Hoping that I can get two into one. That'll do it. Just. That's the plan. Just figured it's a little less effort to run over the field with this. Oh, though we need a little bit of maintenance there. Why do I have the impression that my truck didn't get to the market to sell? Oh, because we're on 0 time. That wouldn't be helping anything. Don't know how we ended up there. That wasn't intentional. Let's make this a bit continuous. This is just a bit easier than towing the pickup wagon around twice. Could of course used a smaller tractor, would have done it as well. But I'm thinking we might be at the point where we've got both some cows, older cows and sheep to be selling to the meat processing plant as well. So it'll be a bit of a different addition. Get some beef and some lamb out of there. Nice crown roast, could be very good. Canola looks great. Welcome along to folks that have joined that might be lurking in the background. Great to have you in. We're just rowing up the... Let's go and find... I'm now worried about my truck full of trees. Where did it end up? Didn't make it to there. So it's gotten stuck somewhere. Oh, behind the water tanker. That would do it. It's just parked on the road. Where are you heading to? You're going to fill up the water at the fattening yard. That'll do. So I put in a course that enabled it to auto fill up the water over there because that was quite a long haul. And that explains that minor mystery. These ones are a bit too far apart. So this was only marginally... I need one size bigger windrower by the looks. It's a help, but it was only cheap. It was only 8 grand, so... Still bits out of there. Now I'm out of sync with my rows. Messy, messy, messy. So as we're preparing here, we need to be thinking about the next steps for expansion. We need a little more grass because the sheep have just about fully populated their pen. I can probably stop that water tanker now. Not achieving very much here when they're further apart, am I? Yeah, because the sheep are a little bit older, then, and they're fully populated, they're eating quite a lot more conditioned grass than they were. Oh, cool. Thank you very much, Scooter. I will be very interested to see what that entails, and we'll give it a whirl. Frankie, your internet's operating for the moment. Great to see you, sir. Hope you've been well. Scooter and Mark have just been helping me with a problem. Oh, that's great to hear, Cranky. I can only imagine how frustrating that must have been for you. Now, let's see. This will do this for now. And we'll pop you up there. Let's go get the header on the... Well, actually, we'll check in on the animals again, just to some of the things I've been covering, and then we'll put the header on the harvester. Looks like our truck made it over there and sold the trees, so our bank balance is healthy. We'll just leave you in the middle of the yard for the minute. We will go and stop the water carrier wherever he is. Now you can go back and fill up again. Potted tree load is the order of the day. And we'll stop you because filling up is good, but we don't, I think, need any more water over it. So the meatworks is now near enough to full on water, so that's fine. And we do need to sell those pigs that are over there. What I was saying about the cows, so we're up to 18, 24, 36 cows, which is full, I think, in the pen. And the oldest of them are 29 months. And when we get them, now that we've given them some food, we've got to put some straw in there. We'll get them back to full health. We'll sell the oldest. Oh, actually, we've got some at 39 months. We definitely want to be selling those. Might as well let them reproduce first. So cows are in good shape. These pigs, we've got some 6 months old there that we need to shift and sell, and need a bit more water in there. And the others, we have to wait. And then we'll have some 6 months old in here, I suspect, as well, to sell. And I'm trying to get some up to their full price so that we can sell them at the animal dealers for their max price. That's kind of the rough plan there. And then the sheep, which I was mentioning, as you can see, we've got quite a collection of sheep. We've just had some more. 28 months is the oldest, I think. Yep. So the 28-month-olds, I suspect we can move across. Oh, God, there's even more down there. 36 months old, I tell a lie. We can move the 36-month-olds to the slaughterhouse. So, how many sheep have we got? We must be getting very close to fully stocked. What was that? 168 of 250. It's a big pen. The tree man's back. Move you around here. So, let's go get a harvester. It's all happening. That off there. Where'd you go? And back again. So in terms of times, does this time slot continue to work for people? I know with changes for daylight savings, and just people's real life schedules, that nothing's certain, but is this window, just judging by the fact we've got pretty much a cross section of communities, UK, Canada, North America, seems like it's working fairly well, and I can certainly make, like, keep going at 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh, you're in France. In-laws duties beckon, I guess. Thank you very much, Scooter. It's very much appreciated. If we run out of things to do, I'll duck out and grab it and restart the game, but otherwise I'll just make sure I've got it loaded for next week's stream. Yeah, so I understand the challenges. 7 a.m. was the best compromise. A 7 a.m. start for me was the best compromise I could come up with. A 6 a.m. start, which is what would have preserved the time slot we were in. It was just a little antisocial from a household standpoint at this end. As the dog gets confused if I start the day too early. Now the key question, and Jason Rowe is in the office, working hard, watching. It's just a matter of finding a balance, Cranky. Believe it or not, it's substantially more fun streaming when there's a bunch of you guys there to interact with. I actually find it quite hard streaming to an empty room. Because it's, I don't know if it's just me, but it's a sort of a, when I'm making a video, I've got a story in my head and I'm just working on that story. It's not entirely the same when it's a stream. And so it's kind of I work on the interaction as much as anything to decide where we go and try to sort of make it interactive, whereas a video's not like that. And if there's bits in the video I don't like, or that didn't quite work the way I wanted, I can cut them out. Whereas in a stream, obviously the stream's the stream, so that you don't get do-overs, so to speak. And that's why I kind of like doing both sorts of content, because they do different things. Whoa, let's try not driving over our crop. That's... Now, what are we going to do with this? We need, if I'm not mistaken, pigs require the canola raw as protein food. So, but, well, it's not an ingredient, I don't think, for grain grist. No, it is not an ingredient for grain grist. It's wheat, barley, and oats. Now we've got wheat over there. We've got to make some barley, and we've got some oats to sort out. So we want to put this ideally somewhere where it's easy to add to the pigs, which means let's grab a big trailer. Speaking of which, where is... It's over there. I grab the trailer that's got the wood back on it. Then we can get the big bin down and fill that up with canola, which we'll do for the minute. We kind of need another silo tower just for the canola, I think. Or a bin. It's... Oops, there's a tree there. So if we unload you, okay, let's try attach the log platform. What are we trying to do here? Drop off the container, that's what I want to do. We'll leave it there for now. Thank you. There we go. Much better. Now, what am I retracting you for? Now we need to put another bin on in just a second. Oh, the dog's awake. I'm gonna need to take a 15-second break. Yes, Tito, I'm coming. Because he would like to go outside and do his morning business. I will be right back, folks. Excuse me for 1 second. There we go. And that activity will need to be repeated in about 3 minutes, or else you'll wake every dog in the neighborhood. Now, let's go and get that bin. It's just a little bit chilly outside to be leaving the door open so that he can get in and out, which is the preferred mode of operation during the summer. And I do like the fact that he comes and tells me what he wants to do. I think that's kind of impressive. Pick you up. Okay, that's novel. Oh, the doors are open, that's why. There we go. Let's hit the right buttons on the right device. So if we pop this by the side of the fields, we can easily fill it up, and then we'll worry about what we do with it after. I think that'll be the plan. So we'll just see if we can drop him off there and slide him under the pipe. While that's emptying, I will go let the dog back in. I'll be back in a sec. There we go, job done. He should now be... I think it's amazing, Jason, that there is no way growing up that, well, we would have left the door open. I can remember back, you know, growing up in suburban Melbourne, we would have... If you had a barbecue in the backyard, you know, the flies would carry your sausage away. But these days, we quite happily leave the back door open during the summer while we're here. Yeah, literally all day. There's no fly screen on it. And we hardly get any flies. And that's a huge difference. I guess it's a function of the growth of the urban sprawl. Living slightly further or closer to the city than I was when I grew up, but all of the farmland and market gardens that used to be in close proximity are gone, and with them a lot of the fly population. Certainly enough to be noticeable. So thankfully, it's not a choice, and the dog loves it because he can come and go. Doesn't have to bother anyone when he wants to duck out to participate in the telephone tree that the local poochers seem to perpetuate. We went from him being the only dog in our immediate vicinity to now having two on one side, two and one on the other side, and two diagonally behind, so it's very busy. No, that's true. No, so my motivation for moving, first of all, was to get out of my parents' house. That just seemed entirely obvious. And the second reason was to reduce my commute to the work. So they lived, 20 k's from the city, which was a great suburb to grow up in. But unlike my father, I didn't enjoy commuting to the office every day. And so I was looking to halve that, which we managed to do. And still find a nice suburb to bring up our own kids. One of whom is in no rush to leave, and the other who, as soon as she got an opportunity, moved to Queensland. So there you go. And yeah, so we've got the canola coming in, which is good. We might do some animal movements next. It's 8 o'clock. We can do another load of trees across. And then we can get some equipment mulching these 2 fields. I think we decided a bit on a thought of a cunning plan. Oh yeah, she's well and truly gone. Of course, the decision that needed to happen and happen now was right in the middle of COVID. So she left on a plane with 2 suitcases, even so far as to do the quarantine thing at her own expense. For those that don't know from overseas, we had some very interesting differences amongst the states in how the respective state governments responded and dealt with COVID. And again, got distracted it right at the end. Let's turn around, put our little auger out, and go up and drop this in the bin. So we can so the plan that I think we arrived at last time, is certainly forming up, is no, it was easy to imagine that it was multiple different countries the way we tended to approach it. We'll extend the cornfield by buying the area on the other side of it, so that'll move that corn over to a really large field over there, and then we'll put, let's just have a look at the timings map because we want to get a bit of crop rotation. So corn doesn't harvest till October. So we have to put our canola and barley and wheat back in. We need 3 fields to do that, and we won't have 3 fields. So we'll have to put canola back in. Basically, what I'm sort of tossing around is we need to be growing wheat, barley, canola, oats, and corn. There, we need actually all 5. Canola goes in raw. Wheat, barley, and oats we make. We can make grist, grain grist, and corn we need for raw or maize silage. So we need all 5 crops, but at this stage we'll only have 3 fields, so we need to create a field up the end there. So the 2 lots of purchases that we need. We need to buy 188 and 208 because that's how we'll get the big cornfields. So that's going to be, oh, that's not so bad. That's only 41 and 24. So we can almost afford that. So it's just a matter of getting the corn out of here. And if we forage that, we can take it out a fraction earlier. Does that help us? Yeah, it does, because then we can plant. Actually, we can get it out in time to be able to plant the either wheat or barley. So that's feeling like a plan. So we'll put, let's say we put wheat up there. We'll put barley in where the canola is, and we'll put the canola in where the barley was. So that'll be 3. And then we've just got to find a place for the oats, which don't plant until the new year. That's feeling like plan. And we know now where the money's going. We will get there. We might, if I send another load of trees across, we'll have the money to buy those fields for the extension of the cornfield later on in the stream. Let's do that while we're waiting. Let's start loading you up. And they should pretty much fill that. Just doesn't quite get the whole length of the spot, but that'll do the trick. Back you up a fraction. That works. You full yet? Almost. That'll kick that off. Yield is bad in 188. I did not notice that. That sounds like a good pickup. Send you across. FM trees. Sure, I pointed to the right one. There we go. Let's have a look at what Mark's just mentioned. Yeah, it is. Probably because interesting. I don't get any information. Might have to look at that. I can't quickly and easily jump across. Oh yes, I can. Let's just cheat for a second and just jump to the top of this. Didn't want to jump while I was within the car. That really wasn't what I intended. Now I've upset auto drive. Let's just do that again. There we go. Now jump out of here. Let's try that while we're not in a vehicle. So this is the hillside. It's steeper than potentially we want as well. So maybe 188's not necessarily the field that we want. The shape of the field doesn't matter too much. I was actually liking it because it didn't have a lot of trees on it, whereas 150 has got a heap of trees, but we can deal with both. They're similar. 150's at 10 grand more, so it's not overly expensive. And I think I've managed to lose the global transport pallet somewhere in my... Trees do make a little bit of money. But the trees on here are... Well, they vary. Some of the pine trees are fine, but the oaks that are scattered in amongst them are annoying. One of the things that we could do with 188 is we could look at the yield and then the bits, you know, so look at the soil map, and unless the whole of the soil map is horrid, and we can probably guess where that's going to be, but we could use the not so good bits to put some vines, grapevines on, which is in my plan to add some grapes in here. I haven't plan as in an intention. I haven't really thought through what or how or where. Only the fact that just getting them established tends to be a little bit capital intensive. And that wasn't a proposition until we had the meatworks established, and now we should start to see an improvement in our financial situation. We're not carrying a massive loan on here. We've got a reasonable one, but it's not massive. And you'll be pleased to learn, Mark Haythornwaite, that last night on the Oaks we paid off another 50,000. Those contracts are proving very lucrative. Although we did succumb and buy a new truck as well. So swings and roundabouts. But I'm tipping overall the bank manager's pretty happy with us. So that I don't have to come back to the container, we will empty on this pass. While it's emptying, let's just have a look at the soil map. Yeah, so as it turns out, the soil was crappy here. So the loam's going to be this area. You never know, it might improve a little bit, but by and large, it's going to be horrid, relatively speaking. Maybe we do get that one. We get the treed one first. Yeah, they do, but they're fun. And I haven't done grapes for a while. There's a bunch of mods and equipment that I haven't used. And once you get your head around the capital cost, the actual remaining costs of doing grapes and the time, effort aren't that much of a problem. So I just thought they'd be interesting to add into the story. The and I think with grapes it becomes a matter of how you do it. So if you yeah, that's no worries. If you use your prime land for grapes, then you know, the financial case is a direct comparison. However, I reckon there's a case to be made for like a mixed use exercise. And for instance, you can use, you know, some borders and those sort of things. You can put some grapes down, get into it fairly gradually, and supplement what you're doing. And it's certainly possible to run your grapes as a money-making concern once you get yourself organized. The trick I found is, whatever you do, don't buy the harvester. That doesn't make any financial sense at all. Very occasionally you get offered a second-hand one in the sale, and so if that comes up, it might be worth buying it, but it might not. The grape processing plant is something you need to own, because if you can't add value to the grapes themselves, then you're in trouble. I just think it's an interesting thing to have a bit of a look at. It won't be our main game, that's for sure. But we'll just see how it unfolds. As I said, I've got no hard and fast plans, just a rough-eyed notion of, oh, that might be interesting. And my thought is that, so I'm probably more in agreement than not, Mark. My thought is we're actually closer to having that sort of money than you might think. So, you know, we've got, well, as we sit here right at the minute, over, up towards 400 pigs. Well, at their best price, straight out, 400 pigs is almost $500,000. So now we're not all, you know, they've got to age and a bunch of things, but we've also got cows and sheep. So our livestock represents a pretty good income stream now going forward, and with the meatworks, I think we'll see that start to convert a little more quickly. Which we'll go and get into in a minute. I did about 500 hours on Old Stream Farm as I was learning the game, and I started in my very first field. I put grapes right in front of that farmhouse. So I started out with grapes, some sheep. So I kind of did some lawn mowing, and then I put a barley field in. And because I was learning the game, I was experimenting with lots of stuff along the way. But grapes were very much the main game. Interestingly, I've tried olives. I don't find them as enjoyable to do. I filled up, that's what the problem was. And I'm not so sure olives fit in this landscape, whereas grapes kind of feel at least slightly more like they belong. We'll see, there's scope to do both. What I did like is those olive trees that have the shaker machine that I haven't used. Of course, there is a mod, I think, that reduces the cost of placing vines to about 1/10, but I'm not proposing to use that. We've almost got this canola off. The other mod that I wanted to look at with the grapes is the one that introduces a couple of different grape byproducts. And you know, there's probably a winery mod out there that might be worth a look too. So as I say, I haven't, it's not like I've got a plan. I would have more research to do. But we can just see how it unfolds. Let's try hitting the correct button. So it looks like my little teleport experience has messed up the delivery of trees to the market, so never mind, I'll solve that afterwards. It was accidental, but I've learnt in the past that teleporting those global transport pallets when they've got product in them doesn't end well. %, will empty, and then when we come back we'll be good. Why are you not? Bit of glitchy emptying. What's happening here? Just gonna save, that's all I wanted. Put you in. Ah, Mark has a winery mod. Your creation or one you found, Mark? Oh, and speaking of mods, I hadn't seen you since you flicked me that link on King mods to the KT10. A couple of things. Firstly, once you connected me, I was able to actually find the KT10 on the ModHub. It's not the world's greatest mod. No worries. Thanks popping in also, Mark. But also that King Mods link gave my system all sorts of conniptions. So there was all sorts of virus alerts and problems. Thank you very much, folks, for staying up past your bedtimes and participating in the stream. It's very much appreciated. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be back on Friday. But for everybody else, we're streaming a bit more. We're going, oh, great demand at the animal dealer. Wonder what that's for. Probably bales of some description that we don't have. We'll finish this and then we'll head over to the meatworks where we can sell in some more animals and move some meat products. We'll just use an auto load trailer for now, but we'll move some meat products down to the sell point. The butchers, I guess you would call it. That's what we would call it. In the home straight. Well, almost. A modded mod. Okay, cool. Well, when we get to it, I'll be happy to have a look. But there have been quite a few bits and pieces in the great world released recently, and so having a forum to actually try them out. It's quite funny watching Mr. Sealy P every now and again, like he had one during the last week, and he's completely forgotten the process for grapes, and so was wondering why the piece of equipment that he was using wasn't generating the effect that he expected, and it was just simply because he was doing the steps in the wrong order. But it's one of those things that takes a little bit of time and effort to get your head around how to make it work best, I found. And for all their fanfare, the Antonio Carrero pack I found to be largely useless, because as soon as you put your grapes on a hillside, they didn't have the horsepower or the traction to pull any implements up them. Fair enough. So you'll have to catch your dose of the... I promise I won't spend too much money on the next Oaks stream. Well, I might not. If something comes up in the sales... G'day Evan, how are you? Welcome along. And Jason, the mod works in the intended environment. It's just Mr. Sealy P forgot the order in which you need to do activities. So trying to plough your grapes before you've mulched them doesn't give you that result you expect. Because the ploughing won't take. Which mod would that be, Evan? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. There are many mods here. Oh, the Carrero tractor. Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things. It works on the flat, but as soon as you put your vines on a hillside, you're going to have issues with it. Or at least that's what I discovered. Which just made it annoying. But that said, once you are in the mode of experimenting, then there's a whole bunch of... The one I'm driving, the Portrait, as far as I know, is available on Xbox. It's not a PC clever mod, it's from the ModHub. Let's just have a look here. Evan, where are we? Oops, let's go to the right spot. So what we're looking at is the harvester, and it's this guy here. Oops, I don't want to do that. So it's the Portrait E516 harvester mod pack. That's what you're looking for. And if I jump out somewhere, I can probably find for you ModHub. Give me 1 second. Category harvesters. Where is Portrait? Dominators. Portrait. E516 by AAA Modding. And is absolutely crossplay. So if I pop that across and go to there and transition, you will see there it is. So that's the pack you're looking for, Evan. AAA modding, and it runs all platforms. So grab it from the ModHub, you should be good to go. Now, let me just try and fix my Screens up again. And put you back there. And click there, and we're back inside the game. Now, what did I miss up? Carrero is good for running augers. Correct, yes. Anything you need to put a machine on and leave it sitting there, those Carrero tractors work well. PBF, welcome along, sir. How are you today? For those that haven't been following PVF closely, Pleasant View Farms provides the Gleaner and the Alice Charmers that I use on the Silver Run series, and is largely the inspiration, I would say, behind the dealership that appears to be emerging for AGCO. So it's kind of watching PVF stuff. I've sort of got lots of the ideas that I'm starting to explore there. But PVF also needs to be congratulated because he has just clicked over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a pretty cool achievement and good recognition for his work as a modder. And he's got some good fun streams to watch as well. So if you haven't already, check Pleasant View Farms out. Give him a subscribe and a like. Now, I want to shut you down for now. We'll put the equipment away later. Can I be your grandfather? Probably not. Probably not, Evan. Not in my job description. I may or may not be old enough. Now, what we need to do is get the canola tub off the field. I'm guessing my children may have something to say about that also. Although my daughter is a school teacher and she's got a very school teachery voice that she uses on occasions. I have to remind her sometimes that a house is not a classroom. Right, so we'll bring this over here. Volga Donkey, there is plenty happening today. We have just finished pulling the canola harvest in. We're going to wait for a minute to decide what to do with that canola. And while we're doing that, we're going to go and find a vehicle like this one. Because we're going to move some meat products out of our abattoir because we've processed some animals. So that's the butcher's sell point that we've got. I don't know that I have a favourite brand. You'll notice I cheated and fixed the bumps on the crossing. So I just used the mod item object hider. Does the bale storage sheds work on this map? I'm having the issues with the shed. I have not tried Volgodonki. I can't imagine. So what I have done is I have used it on I have used the bale storage mod on the Oaks where I streamed last night and today, earlier, and I haven't encountered any trouble with the bale storage mod. That's not to say some maps wouldn't have a problem with it, but I'm not I can't imagine a map issue. It's far more likely to be a mod issue if you're having issues with it, just because of the way the functionality for that bale storage shed works. So the bale storage shed is literally just a shed with a new type of pickup trigger in it. And that trigger runs a script that's embedded in the game. And so it's hard to imagine why a map would have a problem with it. I have been playing this game since Evan, December a year ago. So 15 months or so. I didn't play before FS22 came out. Left shift R is what I want. Let's put some meat on these meat pellets. A bit small. Some more will spawn, I think. Maybe. Maybe not. We might have got them all out. Well, no, I have spent a little bit of time playing because I enjoy, I really found I enjoyed the game, and so I just, in that respect, found it quite addictive. So over that 15 months, I've logged up probably about somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 hours, which kind of, even if I'm a bit slow, I learn a bit in that time. And I like a lot of the technical things, so that keeps me interested. And when I find something that's not quite working, I like to go and figure out why it's not quite working and then fix it. I did that the hard way. And let's see if we can manage this steering wheels on these this trailer to get that vaguely in the sell point. There we go. Cranky, you regularly teach me stuff, so I could have unloaded straight off the, but we'll do it that way. Be a bit lazy. So there's some meat products, so that got us a little bit of cash, as you can see. What we'll do is head on back. So we might send you to where's the best place to send you to? By the time I decide, I could have driven there. Let's go to the main pigsty. Actually, you won't be able to park there, but you'll get pretty close. Yeah, you somehow lost your load. I was not a farmer in real life. I had a couple of we had very good family friends that had a farm, so I had a few visits up there, but really very minor interactions compared with many. That fence really isn't there. No, most of what I now know about farming I've learnt off here and from people that drop in. That's really odd, Volga Donkey, and I'll explain why. So when they came out, I immediately applied them that functionality to the Oaks, and the Oaks absolutely hasn't been updated since the update. So I've applied them to Silverer. Now it's hard to say but I don't believe the Silverrun map was updated either. So I've got a different sell point working on Silverrun. So as I say, I think something else is going on, but I'm not sure what it is for you. Where am I trying to go here? You're trying to go to potted tree load. What can you give me a little bit more information about specifically Silverrun? The DLC map is still, well, it's Giant's property, so I can't say for certain that they didn't change it. You could easily be just lucky, Volga Donkey. I have that feeling about 10 times a week. I could be so lucky, says Kylie. But if you can give me a bit more information about what issue you're having with it, I might be able to pinpoint a little better. So for example, we've probably got the money. Do I have a situation where I need one of those here? We're not really doing bales, so I don't need a bale store, but I could use, have I got it installed even? Let's see, so I've got the standard mod. Won't accept more than the 200 bale limit. Okay. So that absolutely could be so on consoles won't go over. Have you tried putting 2 of them down? Can you get 200 in each? It is possible that it's not the mod, it's not the mod so much or the map as it is the save game. Now, not playing on console, and we've got we might have a few console players in the chat. But if it's the bale limit that's the problem, then it's not the mod's functionality that's the issue. It's the fact that you're at the bale limit. So if you buy a PC, yeah, that's so helpful for console players. PBS, come on. So what I'm thinking, so if you start a new save game on one of the map, so which map are you playing mostly at the moment? Oh, I can understand that, PBF. Okay, so the bale storage mod is a base game function. The Gavile pack is the DLC, and it's quite possible that Gavile, well, it's not only is it quite possible, but the I don't have the Gavile pack. So if the map doesn't support the new bale types that are in Gavile, then that is going to create problems. But what I was going to suggest was if you just started a new save on Hickory Valley, right? Okay, well that shouldn't be an issue. So if you start a new save on Hickory Valley and put down your bale storage, so this is just a test, right? Make 100 bales, stick them in your bale storage. That should work fine. Make another 100, stick them in your bale storage. That should work fine. And check that you can get through the cap. And what I think you'll find is that it's not your, it's not that's causing the problem. It's a conflict with something else. Now, what that something else is, that's where I'd use the combination of just working with the save games. I'm not familiar with either of those two maps to know if they do anything clever under the covers that would in any way affect you. But that's how I would go about trying to get to the bottom of what's causing the issue. I can imagine it's very frustrating. I know that briefly last year when Giants made it clear that they introduced the bale limit for PC, that I spent hours trying to figure out how to get around it. I am in Melbourne, Australia, Evan. The often sunny but not always Melbourne, Australia. Now we need to try and put some animals in here. No, don't wipe it out. Just start a new game and just see if the problem persists in a new game, because that's an important piece of information, right? If the problem you don't get the same problem in a new game, then it's something about the state of your game, and then the issues turn to how do you manage that. Right, now what we've got here, some 10-month-olds, some 1 month olds, some 6-month-olds. That's what I want to sell. So we're going to go across to the meatworks with our 6-month-old pigs. And where do we want? Meatworks, Meatworks animal drop, that's the one. But when you're bouncing up against the I will not still be streaming in 90 minutes, I'm afraid. I've been going since, well, almost 2 hours, so I'll be here for another probably half an hour. But you can always find me, hit me up on Discord, put a comment in the stream, and I'll respond to the comments, and I'll be back again on Friday at the same time as now. But we'll be on the Oaks. Oh, sorry, be Friday my time, so it's Tuesday here now. So depending on what part of the world you're in, Volgodonki, it'll be Thursday evening. I'm assuming you're US or Europe. More likely to be North America, I'm guessing. And I'm walking around in circles thinking, what was I going to do next? I was going to... I'm not a particularly big soccer fan. No, Evan. Some could go so far as to say I wouldn't say I dislike it. I just don't enjoy it. I don't find it as interesting to watch as other sports. I think personally, I hold the view it would be much more of an interesting game to me if they got rid of the offside rule. Do I want to make another mix? I do not. Where would we put? That's the decision we need to make. We need a silo to put the canola in. Where would we put the canola silo? Ah, very good. I have been to the US many times. I visited 23 US states at last count, so I've still got a few to go. So the canola is mostly used with the pigs. So, whoops, what are you doing there? It's a strange spot for you too. What is wrong with you? You are really messed up. You are supposed to be going to the meatworks, my good friend. And the meatworks is over in... Oh, I'm guessing you got hit by the train. That's what happened. That's how you ended up completely off course. Oh, we found our transport bag. That's sitting in the middle of the road. That's the one we lost before. Yeah, you can go to the meatworks. We can get you and go and retrieve the transport bag. For those that are completely confused by that, don't worry. Earlier in the stream, we had a magic intervention. I messed up and we lost the transport bag. Oh, thank you, Cranky. Now let's just... This is always tricky. For reasons that I don't understand. If you're watching... so one of the folks that I've been chatting to on Discord's having trouble with conflicting trigger with their left mouse click. That's an example of it happening right there when I try and put one of these bags on the back of a truck with auto drive. It disengages magically the fact that I'm holding onto something, and I've got no idea what is causing it directly, but it's a conflict of the type you are experiencing. That'll make sense to you if you're who I'm communicating with. For everyone else, sorry, that's just a chat I'm having on Discord with someone that's having a little bit of an issue that I was trying to help with. I did temporarily misplace it. But it was truly gone there for a bit. We'll drive it across here and sell it. Oh, not stopped up here. Or are we just catching the animals? Oh no, we're just catching the animals. That works. I do like the US. I have many good friends. My godson lives in Houston. I just had some very good friends from Texas visit me last week. We had a great time at the Grand Prix. My sister lives in Connecticut with her family. And I really like Boston. It's one of my favorite cities. There we go. We'll get rid of those trees, which we were trying to do before. Why did you not? You did sell all of them. That's all right. I have only driven through Pennsylvania on the way from many years ago. I was doing some work in New York and with a mate of mine, and we were being housed in White Plains. Anyway, one Friday afternoon we got this crazy idea that it'd be a really good idea to go to Washington for the weekend, given we'd never been there, and so we navigated around New York late Friday afternoon into Friday evening and drove down the turnpike and drove through Pennsylvania on our way to Washington. That's as close as I've gotten. Now let's see. We want potted tree load. Off you go. That one there. We don't want that one. Don't want that one. Okay, that was good timing. So these animals can go straight into our meat processing works. All the gory bits happen inside. If you want access to this mod, you need to reach out to Scooter, who may still be in the chat. So we have 20 animals. We're going to select them, move to production. Oh, I don't want to move one. What am I doing? Move 20. Yes. Right. So now we've got some more. Scooter's workbench. There is the man. So he is responsible for this groovy mod, which turns our animals into meat products. Now the next thing we want to do is pick up some of these. No, where is that trigger? It's around there somewhere. Oh, good question, Cranky. I don't know if there's an itch address. Yeah, it's the ones that I want. Select. Move to trailer. Get off there. Come on. Pull it off the fence. There we go. I think it's quite funny that the trailer's called Fattori, given I'm using it to take pigs to the slaughterhouse. It appeals to my sense of humour. We've got trees that I've got to come over and pick up. Let's check through the productions in just a sec. We'll drop these animals in. Back them up to the door. Why won't that let me select them? Were they not yet at full health? There we go, that was bizarre. Yes, okay. So now if we go into our production, I'll answer that in a minute, Evan. I'm just in the middle of a train of thought here. If we go into our production, no, try that button. So we have there you go. He'll get to it in due course, I suspect. So if we go to our meat processing plant, we have now 2 types of pig. That we need to activate. That can produce. We got a little bit of gelatin and a little bit of pork coming out. So that's that. So the next thing we wanted was to send you back. Well, you can go back to the pig. Whoops. Let's try main pigsty because there's still more pigs to move over, and we've got lambs as well. You we won't worry about for today. We've got bamboo to sell next time, aloe vera to sell. What's happening in the rest of our productions here? So you've got plenty of seeds. Teros, got plenty of wood chips. Water and taro. We're getting a bit low on fertilizer. So we need this guy. Can pull you off there. We'll go and grab some fertilizer. We must sell some honey too. We got heaps of that sitting over there. I'm guessing the place that we should put the canola silo is somewhere up here. Would make sense. Maybe on this side. Doesn't need to be right on top of the pigs because it won't really fit easily. There's too many other bits and pieces. Put some fertilizer in here. So in answer to the question you asked before, Evan, it's lovely over here. We are in the midst of autumn, so it's getting cooler at night. Some of the days are cold, some of them are lovely. It's kind of a quite variable weather time of the year. We just had the Grand Prix in Melbourne before Easter, which was a lot of fun. The football season being Australian rules football and rugby for those that follow it in full swing. Lots of sport played in this part of the world. More professional sporting teams based in Melbourne than any other city in the world, as last time I was informed. And let's go and get one down the end there. Just one of those little fun facts. So we've got to keep all our greenhouses working here and make us a nice handy little income. No worries, Evan. Great to have you in. Thanks for dropping by. Maybe we'll see you next time when we're on the Oaks. We do the Oaks stream twice a week. For you, that would be Monday really early and this time on a Thursday. But if you check out the channel, you'll find access to all of the streams and the video series. You might enjoy Silver Run. Well, both Silver Run and Griffin are based in the US, but we're having lots of fun on both of them at the moment. Busily making Silver Run look a bit different to the way Giants distributed it, which I'm finding quite fun. Okay, that's that one. Let's see how we go here. Because you didn't fill, so I'll top you off. Rightio. And that'll go pretty good for the last one, I think. Nice narrow run, that one. Okay, so that's all of those done. Yeah, so they're the sheep that we need to, and they're actually running out of food again, which is why we need to cut that grass that's down there. Let's pop you. Actually, you need to go and get a load of slurry. And around we go. What a busy little operation we have here now. You can fill up there. While that's happening. Oh, the pigs I want to pick up are down that road. So that won't work. You need to go up. Can I fit? I reckon I'll make it. Without banging into my own tractors. No train coming. What am I doing? I don't want to be around here. I drove right through the unload point, didn't I? And we need to send some milk off to the sell point as well. I'll do that after we've unloaded this. That's where you need to be. No worries, Cranky. It's great to have you back. Let me just jump over there and see what that's telling me. So we can disconnect you off the, whoops, that's not the one I wanted to disconnect. I wanted to disconnect that one. And let's hook on the milk truck. Fill you up. You're at max weight. Okay, Chief. So you need to go to let's send you to the bakery. And then the next thing we need to do is pull you off the grass field because we want to cut the grass. Ah, you're working on getting it released. Thank you, Scooter. I'm sure you'll let me know when you do so that I can advertise it, because I'll put the link in the stream description for you. Now, next thing we want to be doing is collecting up some of that straw because many of the animals require it. I suppose I could just put the canola silo down here, but kind of feels like it's in the way. No, I think I'll put it up the top. Go for an industrial solution. And that way I don't feel inclined to have to put a an auger in for it, or another auger in for it. There's our guy off to the milk. I think I might have said it before, but I like it when I see other equipment working on the map. It'd be really nice if, in the same way that the pedestrians walk, there was the occasional somewhat randomized depiction of the NPC farmers actually working their fields. So, just running a harvester or a truck or some other piece of implement doing field work. I'm guessing it's not high priority for giants, but it'd be quite add to the immersion, so that you look out over there and you actually see some of the other, maybe not on this map where there's not that many NPCs, but where you see people working their stuff. I reckon it'd be great. Okay, so that's one trailer of straw, so we'll take it up and fill the pigsty. And then we have to put it in the loft because this doesn't fit to fill the cows. Can I get around to get that one across there before we fill up? Maybe. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel, Jason. That's kind of why I like messing around with the automation, because it means, and it's where I'm having a lot of fun. We haven't quite got it to the point I'm aiming for, but on the Oaks, where we can be working 5 contracts, and because of the Putney children, and I can be working something else and see other activity happening around me, and that's certainly what I'm going for. So let's toodle up here. And to some extent on here, I've got to spend some time and sort the train out. It's annoying, it's too frequent, which just gets in the way, creates too many accidents. We around here. Come on. Where's the straw trigger? There it is. Fill you up. This will keep you going for a bit. Oh, didn't take as much as I expected. Where are we? August. Yeah, on this map, the train's actually running in a weird sort of an 8, and so consequently it's always on the map, whereas on some maps or on many maps the train actually disappears off the map. Now the train line's still defined, it's still doing a circle, but so the train runs continuously. But where it takes a long time to appear, so Griffin's a good example, it's just that the circuit that the map maker built off the map is lengthy. Because the standard cruise speed for the train is 50 mile an hour or 80 k's. Right. That's that one there. So let's, while I'm thinking about it, grab you. Tootle in here and put some straw in. There we go. Back you up. It'd be actually nice to have a little mod where I could just change the speed of the train without having to go and edit it. I've got no idea how to do that. I mean, the mod, the train ends up just being a vehicle. It's part of your save game, but I don't know how to modify its settings. Goodness me, getting hooked on that door. Yeah. Seriously. Change in angle. There's a ramp into the building, as well as the collision on the door. Just makes it a little tricky. Okay, that should make the cows happier. Let's have a look here. They've got some straw. They've got a little bit of food, so they need topping up on the food front. There's no animals at the Meatworks fattening yard. There's nothing going to give birth here at the minute. We're going to sell those 67 when I get a chance. When's the next lot giving birth here? These are reproducing. Oh, not for a little while, so that's good. We've got a little bit of breathing space from the pigs. And we've got to move the oldest sheep across, I think. Now that we're back at 100% health, what are they worth? 800 for those ones, 1,000 for those. So we want to be selling them. So there's another 5 grand we can pick up. But I think for now, that's where we might leave it today. pull you out of there because I need to make another feed mix. We got through a few good chores. We've got a few jobs that are in progress, so we may just pick it up at roughly the same spot next week. We'll see how we go. We need to buy a field, which we will clear. We'll have some cash for that. I might sell off a few things and get that sort of movement sorted out, and then we'll be in a good place to make some investments next time. Yeah, there are lots of trees, especially over that way where we're looking to. So we might set up for a little bit of that next time while we wait for the next lot of crops to harvest. Thanks very much for dropping by, folks. Really appreciate it. Have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you at the Oaks at the end of the week. Cheers. Stay safe. See ya.